Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a boy named Wei. He wasn't strong, he wasn't tall, and he didn't have much money. But he had something else, a wild imagination. Wei loved folding paper. With every scrap he found, he turned it into birds, bright red cranes, blue swans, golden sparrows. His small hands worked magic, and in his eyes, each bird could almost take flight. But there was one problem. His family was poor, and he wanted to help. So one morning, with a bundle of paper birds in his basket, Wei walked into the busy marketplace. He approached the first stall and said shyly, "Would you like to buy a bird? It's only 1 coin." The shopkeeper looked at the delicate paper fold and laughed. "Why should I pay for a piece of scrap paper? Go home, boy." Embarrassed, Wei tried again. A woman selling vegetables shook her head. A baker chuckled. Children pointed and giggled. By the end of the day, no one had bought even 1 bird. Wei trudged home, basket still full, eyes wet with tears. "Maybe I'm foolish," he whispered. "Maybe no one will ever want what I create." But the next day, he tried again. And the day after that, the answer was always the same. Laughter, rejection, silence. Weeks passed, and his hope shrank. Until one afternoon, an old man stopped him. "What are you selling, boy?" Wei held out a paper bird. His voice cracked. "It's just a bird eye. Folded. Nobody wants them." The old man smiled, picked up the fragile crane, and turned it in his hand. "I'll buy one." Wei froze. "Really? But why?" The old man looked at him kindly. "Because when I see this bird, I remember my childhood. It makes me smile. I'm not paying for paper. I'm paying for the feeling it gives me." Something lit up inside Wei that day. He suddenly understood. People weren't laughing at the bird. They just didn't see the feeling behind it. If he could share that joy, people would value it. From then on, Wei stopped saying, "Do you want to buy my bird?" Instead, he said, "Would you like to carry a little joy with you today?" And slowly, people began to buy, not for the paper, not for the folds, but for the meaning. Centuries later, this same truth would define the life of a man you know, Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba. Jack Ma grew up in Hangzhou, China. He was small, skinny, and terrible at math. He failed his exams twice. He applied for 30 jobs and was rejected from all of them. Even KFC turned him away when they hired everyone else who applied. Rejection became his daily meal. But like Wei, Jack never stopped folding his paper birds. For him, those birds were his ideas. When he first spoke about building an online marketplace for China, people laughed. "You build a company? You don't know technology. You don't know finance. Who will buy from you?" Even investors shook their heads. His early pitches were rejected again and again. But Jack Ma remembered something powerful. "People don't buy products. They buy feelings," he once said. Today, making money is simple. But making sustainable money, while being responsible to society, is very difficult. Alibaba wasn't built on selling cheap goods. It was built on selling trust. Jack knew Chinese sellers were afraid of fraud, and buyers were afraid of scams. So he created a platform that said, "You can trust us. You can feel safe here." And just like Wei's birds, people weren't buying paper, or even products. They were buying confidence. They were buying connection. They were buying a feeling. That's why Alibaba exploded. It turned a man once laughed at into one of the richest, most influential entrepreneurs in the world. The lesson Wei's paper birds. Jack Ma's. The thread is the same. People don't pay for what you sell. They pay for how you make them feel. A cup of coffee isn't just coffee, it's comfort. A pair of shoes isn't just leather, it's confidence. A folded bird isn't paper, it's joy. Jack Ma once joked, "I'm not a tech guy. I'm just an ordinary teacher." But I believed in the future, and I believed in people's hearts. So let me ask you this. What's your paper bird? What small idea or dream do you have that could bring joy or trust to others? Write it in the comments. I'd love to read your story. And if this touched you, don't miss what's next. Because tomorrow, I'll share the story of a young man who was laughed at for singing on the streets, but turned rejection into a music empire. Subscribe now, so you don't miss it. Remember, your paper bird might just be the beginning of your empire too.